Welcome back to the Boneyard Podcast, everybody. This is your host, Artemis Brower, along with my good friend, Chance. Chance, how we doing today, brother?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing pretty good, man. We are down one today. We're down a compadre. We are down one, Jared Shafit. He is out, feeling a little under the weather, a little under the radar. So we're filling in for him. Gonna go ahead and steer this ship, steer it the right way. Still gotta produce some content, still gotta get it out to the people. So we're excited to be here. But Chance, how you doing, man?
Good,
What's
man.
what's like?
Watching the Pac-12 die is pretty fun.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
That's a train wreck.
Yeah, right. So Pac-12, Big Ten, SEC, kind of becoming the two dominant powers. Everybody's kind of just falling by the wayside. We'll definitely touch on that in a little bit here. But episode 156, 56. You got a number 56 for us?
Yeah, I got one that's going to sting a little bit. We seen his son. He played at Vandy, Jack Leiter. So I'm talking about Al Leiter.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the pretty good pictures of his air. I mean, back when guys had to locate pitches and not just have straight fastball, with ridiculous pitches. He put up, a 3.8 ERA across an entire career of 19 years. I think it was 2,000 innings pitched. Gave up like 1,000 runs, but he started like almost 400 games. So, I mean, he done so much for the game. His son he might be one of the best pitchers we've ever seen here in the next couple of years. So he done a lot for the game of baseball.
I like it. That's a good one. Mine is pretty chalk. It's a guy we haven't actually talked about on the podcast, but it's pretty chalk. We're talking about one of the greatest defensive players of all time, but I couldn't really think of another 56. So I was like, why the hell not? Why not pick this guy? That is Lawrence Taylor. The GOAT. If anybody that watched football back in the 80s and 90s is going to tell you Lawrence Taylor is probably the greatest football player to ever walk the face of the earth. I don't even need to talk about his accolades. If you're old enough to know, you know who Lawrence Taylor is. But that would be my 56 for the week. Typical chalk for me, but that's all right. Shout out to the great Lawrence Taylor. But I do just want to shout out Variety Sports Network. We are a proud member of BSN. Any and all of your sports news, sports podcasts, be sure to check out BSN. That is Variety Sports Network. But getting right into this thing, Chance, we did touch on the Pac-12. Recent news, you got I think Oregon and Washington getting flirted by the Big Ten.
Did you see the last three?
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, dude, they're done. Hold on.
I know Colorado's going to the Big 12.
Let's see. I gotta find. I can't believe I don't remember who it was.
So
it was like the last three big schools in the Pac. Yeah, it's Arizona State, Arizona, and Utah to the Pac-12, pending Big 12 approval.
Wow,
they're going to get
they're trying to go to Big 12.
Yep. I mean, they know the Pac-12 is dead. Yeah. I mean, it's going to leave who? Oregon State, Washington State, Stanford, and Cal.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not a good football conference.
Go? Like, do you think that they go to like a Power 5, or do you think they go down?
I think like the Pac-12 and the Mountain West are going to like merge, type deal, and they're going to still be called the Pac-12. But I made this point earlier on Twitter. With the way Pac-12 is going, is the American now considered a Power 5 conference?
I mean, but does it even matter? Because you could technically say that the American is a Power 5, but with what SEC is gaining, with what the Big Ten is gaining, it really is a 2-horse race, and then it's like everybody else trying to catch up at this point. I mean, it's just going to be.
I think the new term, what we're going to see soon, is going to be a Power 4. So I think for any ECU fan that thinks we're P5, we're never going to reach that level because of our media market, and it sucks to say it. But, I mean, right now we're looking at a really good point. The playoffs are expanding next year for, the best 6 conference champions to get in. So our doors are wide open to get right in. And, I mean, there's no reason to go nowhere. There's nowhere that's worth it unless we go Big 12, ACC, SEC, Big 10. Going to the Pac's pointless. I don't know why I see people saying that. We don't need to travel across the country every other week to go play a football game. It's going to cost too much money in the long end to get out of the American and travel. It's just not worth it.
I mean, you said it exactly right. The playoff is expanding. I don't even think – I mean, conference realignment, yes, the next time we have a chance to move up, absolutely. But really it's just about as a program doing what we have to do as a program, getting our name out there, getting our notoriety, getting our marketing up, and just trying to squeeze into that playoff spot and shock the world, right, when expansion does actually, happen. But at this point, it is absolutely Big Ten, SEC's world. Everybody else kind of fall in line. Maybe Big 12 probably third after that. Like you said, I do agree that Pac-12 and the Mountain West is probably going to join and still be called the Pac-12 and still consider themselves a Power 5 conference. But we all know the Pac-12 is essentially dead. ACC's been kind of quiet. I mean, Florida State has kind of had those rumblings like we're gonna leave.
I think it costs too much to get out of the ACC. I mean, their grant of rights is they set themselves up. ACC. You would think Florida State, Clemson, UNC, and Duke are probably getting poached.
Right.
But I mean, I think I've seen $30 million a year to get out, and then I think Florida State has 10 years on the contract. That's like $300 million. Nobody's coming up with that kind of money to get out.
Right. Not to get out.
Yeah, I mean, unless the SEC's got it back, I know Vandy makes a lot of money a year that they shouldn't be making compared to what some of the ACC schools make.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Florida State doesn't have the money, but I just think at this point I think they're selling Wolf tickets. They're kind of talking the talk. But and it's not like the ACC. I mean, being an ACC isn't bad either. I mean, it is a conference.
Yeah, I mean, football, basketball, baseball, everything.
Right. Like
they got every baseball.
It's an excellent conference to be in. But this is getting me excited for college football. Cannot wait for all this. Man. We are less than what are we? A couple weeks away.
29 days. We're 29 days. Yeah, we're not long.
Not far away from that's week 0. I know we're still about 4 weeks away from week 1. But man, I'm excited.
I was excited for the preseason game last night, man. Yeah. I got excited. Hearing the music, man, it just gets you ready, man. Friday night lights, Saturday games, Sunday games, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. It's just like I'm so excited.
It's funny that you mentioned that. I was literally sitting on the couch last night, and Ashley came up to me and she was like, "Is there football on already?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm watching the Hall of Fame game. I'm watching the preseason football game." And she was like, "But that doesn't even matter, right?" And I'm like, all football matters. Like, don't.
Man, DTR looked good.
I'm excited.
DTR looked good.
Yeah.
He looked really good. I'd love to see Zach Wilson get some more reps. Yeah, I'd like to see Zach Wilson get some more reps. But, I mean, that one throw he had, he looked like he'd been working with Rodgers on that one.
Well, I mean, look, he was at UCLA forever. So,
yeah.
Kid can play. The kid can definitely play. But, moving right along here, man, getting right into everything. We do have SMU preview this week. We do have the running backs this week. We're going to go ahead and start with that SMU preview. This is a team that's kind of always given us a little bit of trouble. SMU is always that team that anywhere between 7 to 10 wins, right? They can be a scary good team, a dark horse, or they can just be a complete disappointment. And last year they went 7-6 overall. Tell me about SMU. What are you expecting from them? How do you think SMU bounces back this season?
Man, honestly, I really don't know. I mean, they're bringing in 17 different transfers. I think, 17 different ones. I mean, and that's a lot of pieces. They're not really kind of getting like one guy to fix a spot. Keep letting the youth rebuild. They're completely rebuilding, which, I mean, in this day and age of football, is kind of the thing. You got to do it. I mean, they're in Dallas, so if you're wanting a team to take the step to the P5 level, SMU is doing the right job, getting the players in. They're in the Dallas area. They got the money. So, I mean, I think this year, SMU is going to try to be a very, very good football team. And they're coming out for blood for a lot of people.
Let me ask you this, because it feels like SMU and ECU might kind of be in the same boat as far as their place in the conference. Okay. Do you think that's going to be like the battle for third or the battle for fourth, possibly in the American between SMU and ECU?
Because I kind of had the American some tiers. I have Tier 1, Tulane, UTSA. Those are going to be the two best teams in the conference. We can almost guarantee that. Tier 2 is ECU, SMU, Memphis, throw in FAU, kind of just teams that you don't know what you're going to get, but they still should be a good enough football team to, win a couple games. And then the other teams is like Charlotte and Rice, and everybody else we don't care about.
And just kind of like, I tend to agree with you. I know they went 7-6 last year. I think they're right at an 8-win team this year, maybe sitting right at maybe 7 wins again this year. I don't really see too much of an improvement for SMU, but I don't see too much of a downfall for SMU, which is kind of like typical for every SMU team that you see every year. Do want to run through their schedule real quick because I do got it pulled up in front of me. Doesn't really look that daunting, to be completely honest with you. I mean, week 1, you got Louisiana Tech coming into Dallas. That should be a win. Week 2, you go to Oklahoma. That's going to be a little bit of a doozy going to Oklahoma. That's probably an L. Then you follow that up with Prairie View at home. Should be a win. SMU and TCU. So you got Oklahoma and TCU 2 out of the last 3 weeks. That's going to be hell. That's probably an L right there. Then you get Charlotte at home, and then you get the ECU game.
On Thursday, it's on a Thursday night, but I've heard – it says Thursday, but I've heard they might try to get it flexed to Friday to get it away from the Thursday night football game.
Yeah. And you're looking at possibly 2 3-2 teams going into that matchup. I think SMU will probably be 3-2. ECU likely will be 3-2 at that point in time. So you're looking at a matchup that could kind of catapult one team's success going forward and then one team's complacency going forward. So that really could be one of the bigger matchups at the, halfway point.
It's an early game. It's early in the season for a big time conference game.
Right.
So I mean, we're gonna see what not only we are made of, but what are the Mustangs made up as well? They're bringing the quarterback back off a collarbone injury, so we're going to kind of see, is he still the same guy? Is he able to get back to where he was? Because before he got hurt, man, he was a baller. He was looking like one of those guys that could probably be day 2, day 3 guy. And but that injury, everything he throws up top. So you just kind of got to see where he comes back with it. And they got one wide receiver coming in from TCU that was a 4-star recruit coming out. So, what's his name? Something Jordan Hudson.
That's a nice little rivalry in itself, too. SMU, TCU, they're both in Dallas. People that don't pay attention to that rivalry, they hate each other. Absolutely
I think they were a really, really close game this year, too. Like, really, really close. Yeah, 42-34.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and look where TCU went.
Right.
I mean, SMU hung right with them. So, I mean, this shows that this conference, when we want to, we can hang with some people that you wouldn't expect us to.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm looking at the rest of their schedule after ECU. I mean, it honestly really does lighten up. You get Temple, Tulsa, Rice, and North Texas, all 4 in a row after ECU. I mean, honestly, all 4 of those could be wins. They could be sitting at 7-3.
They should. All those should be wins at that point.
Right. I mean, honestly, probably sitting at 7-3. Going to that Memphis game.
That's going to be their toughest game.
Yeah.
And you got Navy at home.
Exactly.
So, I mean, and if you're going to play Navy, you want them at home. Then, I mean, you don't ever know what you're getting with Navy. Never. So, I never say win or loss for Navy. It's just always, I don't know.
I mean, truthfully, I think ceiling could be 9 wins for SMU. I mean,
I
could see.
I believe the Vegas odds have them exactly at 8.
At 8?
Yep. So, I mean, they're expecting them to kind of be about the same team. I know ECU's odds are at 5.
Wow. I hadn't seen ECU odds yet, but wow, 5 wins. Which, to me, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm hitting the casino tomorrow, and you best believe ECU over 5 wins is getting hammered.
Facts. Love it.
I think it's like minus 120. Like 5 wins, it's not enough.
No, that's just Vegas odds? They have it set at 5 wins?
Yeah, that's what it's at this sport book, and it's like Rivers Casino in Portsmouth. It's like 2 hours from here. So yeah, we turned 20. We had to wait to get the IDs in. New IDs took like 2 weeks. My buddy finally got his, so we're hitting the road.
Nice. Yeah, I just 5 wins, man. To me I know we got a lot of turnover. I know it's a lot of shit. There's a lot of change, but 5 wins just feels like the floor. for ECU.
Yeah.
I feel like we're going to get more than 5. We're going to at least get to a bowl
We have
game.
a ton of talent.
Right.
I haven't got out to camp yet, but from everything I've heard from Igo and some of the other media outlets, the boys just look like they mean business.
Right.
The offensive line's big. The running back room, when we get there, man, we got a lot of people to talk about. There's some names up there I couldn't even put because it's just so deep. That room's so deep. So, I mean, I'm extremely excited.
And, I just, honestly, I agree. I think the floor is 5. I could see maybe us only getting 6. We're gonna break all this down in a couple of weeks. We're definitely gonna go into detail with ECU schedule and break everything down. Not just 5 wins. Wow. But you did touch on the running backs. And speaking of the running backs, it is running back week. We do want to talk about that running back room. Obviously, the elephant in the room. You lose Keaton Mitchell. You lose a guy that should have been drafted. A guy that was in my opinion, top 3 running back in ECU history. I firmly believe
there's
he's
no
a
question.
top 3 running back in the history of East Carolina University. So you don't really replace that. You just have to try and move on and get better and stay consistent. But this running back
his
room,
name should be on one of those plaques that we got inside of Dowdy one day, and I firmly believe that.
Put on the Jets and he's gone. I'm honestly gonna miss seeing Keaton Mitchell run
down
the
sideline.
Camp?
Dude, he's put on some muscle. Dude,
well, he's had some
muscle. Yeah, I mean, he looks good. He's doing a lot of punt returns. I've seen him working with the ones a lot with Lamar, and everything come out of camp is he's gonna be the one UDFA they keep. They're gonna cut some 7th rounder to keep him.
Yeah,
I mean, but we all knew his potential. Every one of us. He's just a smaller guy with undrafted.
Right. Hopefully he can just, kind of make some room for himself. I mean, obviously you being that size, you're gonna have to bulk up. But the NFL, I mean, those training regiments, those coaches, that training staff, they're gonna get you right. And as long as you got the talent, you're gonna be there in the end. But
Deuce Vaughn got drafted. He's smaller than Keaton. And
that is
a better running back.
That is true. Deuce is nice though. I give it to Deuce. Deuce is definitely nice.
Yeah, he's nice, but he's not Keaton. To me, I'd rather have Keaton. His speed is just.
I would agree.
I mean, we seen against Old Dominion. He hit the outside on that one play. It was I remember it. He hit the outside and then it was gone. It was crazy.
I think one of my fondest of go ahead.
He had dude on his hip, and then I looked back up, and then he's standing in the end zone by himself. Nobody's there.
I think the App State game for me, when we played App State in Charlotte, I was at that game. It was a couple years ago. And when Keaton broke off down the sideline, and it literally looked like everybody else was going in slow motion, and he was hyper speed. It was just his difference was just, and I was like, wow, okay, that's when I was I knew he was good, but that's when okay, he's different. He's a special kind of different where he can separate from everybody. So definitely shout out Keaton Mitchell. But talking about this current running back room, man, Chance, break it down for us, bro, because we got Rajay Harris, we got Marlon Gunn, Joe Green, John Tavis Bond. How good can this running back room be for ECU in 2023?
Well, this room can be, probably the unit, the nucleus of our offense, because this room's deep. Rajay, he tore his ACL, but I don't care. He looks happy and healthy in camp. Every video he is, he's going full speed. He's hitting the pads harder than anybody. I mean, he wants it. That dude is hungry. He's seen what he missed out on last year. He knew if he didn't get hurt, what special him and Keaton could have been together. So he's hungry. He's got this last year. He wants it. He wants it bad.
Yeah.
So I fully expect Roger to have a big year. I'm not saying 1,000-yard a year because of how deep this running back room is, but Roger's going to be important. He scored, was it 5 touchdowns in 5 games? He put up 238 yards with 5 touchdowns. I mean, he was a bulldozer on the line. Nobody could tackle him.
And
so he's going to be big.
If he can, because, we don't know how he's going to return from the ACL injury, but if he can at least be 90%, 85 to 90% of what he was, that's still going to be critical.
That's a lot.
For our success. And then
the
you
guy
add
right behind him.
Go ahead.
The guy right behind him, Gunn, like you're saying. We seen some flashes from him last year. Toward the later half of the year, whenever, people were really starting to pick up on Keaton, kind of fading Keaton out, not letting Keaton get to the outside. We started using gun, busting it up the middle. He showed what kind of special talent he can be.
Yeah.
And I think my main question is how does ECU line up with all these running backs? Because in my head, we bring in the transfer, Gerald Green from Georgia Southern. He's coming in as a grad transfer. And, when you go in your last year, you're trying to do as best you can, trying to, do everything you can to find a field to get next level.
Right.
So, how do we line up? Is it going to be like a 1A, 1B, 1C? Is it going to be a true number one? Is it going to be, more of a situational committee? I'm excited. I don't know what, Donnie has up his sleeve. I hate on DK. I hate on DK a lot. But if he can find a way to make this running back room what it needs to be, get this offense where it needs to be, and we have a big year, I'll be quiet about him for a little while.
Well, look, if there's one thing DK loves to do, he loves to run, right? He loves to run that route. It looks like that is the one thing in his repertoire he can call right is running. Sometimes there are times when he calls run play, it's like, what the hell are you doing? But all the confidence in the world in Roger Harris, all the confidence in the world in Marlon Gunn. Definitely think those two are critical and crucial. I think Mason Garcia, honestly, I mean, Holden was a not just a pocket passer. He could scramble and get out, big body, could run. But Mason is a true athlete. Like Mason is somebody that could, he's like a gazelle out there when he's running. He could lose a defense when he wants to. I think having more of a
he's huge, dude. Like he's so big.
Mason is he looks like he could line up play defense.
Yeah.
So absolutely.
Dude, I mean, he's a freak athlete.
Yeah, and that's going to be critical, I think, to our run game as well. Don't know too much about Joe Green and John Tavis Bond. How do you think they fit into to those top two?
Green is, like I said, I really don't know what we're going to get out of him. I mean, he averaged like 5.4 yards per carry at, Georgia Southern, but, only put up like 483 yards. But I don't know what kind of system they're in. They might be in a different kind of system, might not be run heavy. But, I mean, he's coming here for a reason. So, I mean, he's going to have a chip on his shoulder. And Bond is, was when we picked up that commitment, everybody, on our staff was excited. He's got, he's flat out explosive. Igo said it, he's not Keaton Mitchell explosive, but he has that explosive factor. That's going to, when he hits the weight room, he gets bigger, quicker. When he hits that college level, he's going to be a very good running back. And it's going to be hard to keep him off the field as a freshman. So I think it's going to push these other guys, like Raja and Gunn that, they can't take it lightly. There's a guy behind them coming for their job. So, yeah, like I said, I think this room's going to be exciting. We got still some other guys under them that are pretty daggone good too, but you just can't get to them. The room's so good, and that's really tough for those other guys.
Hey, look, competition breeds success. I love it. Now, let me ask you this: over under total yards, total like rushing yards, 1,500. Do you think this running back room combined gets over 1,500 rushing yards on the season or less?
Honestly, I think we do. The only thing that scares me is I think, Michigan is going to be tough. How many rush yards can we get at Michigan?
You kind of just got to throw that one out. That might be like a 35
you know what I mean? Like, so, that's it leaves us only with, 12 games because, we're going bowling. Don't care what nobody says.
Right.
Where does that leave us? And, I think this real question is going to come down, how does Mason Garcia play? If Mason's out there slinging that rock, we're not going to run the ball like that. Because, I think Mason's play style compared to Holton's is going to be completely different. Holton, he could run, but like you said, he wasn't like Mason. He didn't have that true kind of run RPOs with him. You couldn't really do it. He wasn't fast enough to get around the edge. And I think Mason is. So I think it opens up the playbook as a whole. It's going to keep us from throwing 3rd and 10 slant routes across the middle to the slot. But I'm excited. I think this room can be very good. And I just hope Rajay can have a big year. I'm pulling for him hard.
Facts. Oh, we all are. Trust me. We are all rooting for Icy Rajay. But I don't think I asked you this. The Michigan game. Are you going to the Michigan game?
I am.
I think you did say you are going to be there, correct?
Yep. We're driving up the Thursday night before.
Yep. Okay, yeah, we got to get up because Ashley and I are going up there, and I need to be tailgating with the Pirates up there. Even though I don't know what the hell I'm going to be wearing for this game, I might just be wearing a black T-shirt.
Yeah.
just in the
Man,
stands.
honestly, I don't even know where we're going to tailgate at. We're still trying to figure out everything. We're like 40 minutes from Ann Arbor, but we're just going to Uber because all of us want to have a good time. We're not trying to go to Michigan and drive 12 hours for nothing. So we're just going to Uber.
You guys stay in Detroit?
Yeah, we're like 10 minutes out of Detroit because the girls want to go to the zoo and I want to hit the casino, so it just made more sense.
Yeah. We are also staying in Detroit. I think we are. We actually are trying to get a room at the Motor City Casino Hotel and Resort. I think we're trying to stay there because we haven't booked yet. It's either that or I think like the Westin or something like that, or some other hotel we're trying to look at.
Yeah,
we are going to stay in Detroit.
We got some Airbnb, and dude, the Airbnb is remind me. I need to send it to you. It's got like a full wet bar inside. Dude, it is electric.
Love it.
The wet bar might be where I'm at most of the time, to be honest with you. Might not have to go out.
Oh, I can't wait. It's close, man. We're just 4 weeks away. So
yeah, it's not a lot. I mean, because tonight I got work for high school games. Yeah. That's getting ready to kick off. 2 weeks for Friday Night Lights, and then 2 weeks after that it's game time. So I'm excited, dude. It's my favorite time of the year. Weather's getting kind of cool. You can go outside and not sweat the whole time.
Yeah.
So I don't know about you, but I'm ready for some BCU football, man.
I gotta maybe get into some Friday Night Light stuff. I kind of miss high school football a little bit. Even get out there, maybe doing a little bit of coaching or assistant or whatever. But I miss Friday Night Lights. I really do. Yeah,
dude, covering those games. Oh my god, dude, it's like I can feel the whole energy because you were there. You know what it feels like, man.
Right.
You're strapping up the pads. It's just like the music's on. Everybody's getting ready. You're like, dang, dude, I miss this so much. Want nothing better than going to school all week. Get to play a game on Friday night. Whole team's behind you. Whole town.
Yeah, it's different. You got the whole community. You got the whole vibe. I would. That's one of the things I would almost do anything to go back and just have one more Friday night. Playing a game after a win.
And I didn't even play. I was just chilling on the bench. But dude, the energy was still there. You know what I mean? I never played till senior year. I was always the baseball kid. Played basketball junior year on JV, trying new things, and then coach called me. He was like, "You're not gonna play quarterback." I don't know how to play quarterback, but throw a baseball can't be much different. I was so wrong, so much different. But man, I learned so much about football that I thought I knew, and then playing, it's now I understand the different levels of defense concepts. Why the tight end's blocking? Why is this guard pulling? It just makes football more, more of a beautiful game, beautiful game than I really realized.
It's chess, not checkers. A lot of people think football is checkers. It ain't checkers. It's chess. It is.
Oh yeah, I mean, there were so many times I would question, in film, I'd be like, Coach, why do we run this play? Mm-hmm. And then the next play would be the same concept, but a receiver run a different route. Make it was just confusing. But the more I thought about it, I'm like, they think it's this. We give them this, easy first down.
Right.
And it's crazy how – I don't know if you've ever been in, seen the videos of NFL huddle, but, there's not plays. No. Every receiver has, a route. So it's X, trig, so many different play calls. Mm-hmm. And everybody's got to listen to their one call. It's not
there's one specific thing that they have to know. And the crazy thing is, the quarterback has to literally know
everything.
Everything.
Dude, I didn't realize how much went into being.
Yeah, the tackle only has to know to do this. The receiver and the running back I'm blocking on this play, but the quarterback is every I have to know every piece. It's insane.
Because I was confused just trying to remember, which side was the weak and strong on the run plays. I'd be getting so lost, man. I don't know how they do it at the pro level.
I was watching. Have you watched the quarterback documentary on Netflix?
I watched 2 episodes, and then I've seen almost half of it on TikTok. So I've seen almost everything. It feels like
they were breaking down the plays, and I maybe understood maybe 1 or 2 things that they were saying, but they were reading out the play, and I was like, that just sounds like straight gibberish. I have no fucking clue what the hell they just said, but they know it verbatim, and they read 200 plays like that. Like they just know it. So, yeah, football is definitely a game of chess, not checkers. 1,000%.
I'm stoked. I could talk about football all night. All night.
But that's actually really all we had, though, brother. Wasn't going to be a long episode, short, sweet, to the point. Chance, you got anything else you want to give to the people?
You know, if you're a betting man, go down to the casino in Virginia. Take ECU over 5 wins is what I got to tell people.
Okay.
That's not enough wins.
No, that's
don't come to me if we lose. If we only win.
Chance says only hit my DMs when we win. Don't hit me when we lose.
Yeah.
I'm not open. But you got to walk the plank for us this week, man?
The Pac-12.
Yeah.
That's got to be, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that conference was at one point, Oregon, Utah, Stanford at one point was really good, and Oregon State. Now it's just like, what are y'all doing? College football is completely changing.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't even get a media deal done. They pretty much burned their bridge themselves. Teams were waiting. I mean, they went a long period of time. I was like, what's going to happen? No media deals in place. Your 2 big schools already left. Your next biggest one's Oregon. You got to hold Oregon. If you don't hold Oregon, like this conference is pretty much toast. And then you got the news, Oregon and Washington. I was like, dang.
Yeah,
got the Seattle. They got the Seattle market. The Big Ten, the SEC are, I'd say, almost on the same level now. They're getting there. I mean, and it's hard to say because the SEC has been so good and won so many national championships, but they keep adding teams, they're going to be on the same level.
I agree. I absolutely agree. And I think when USC and UCLA decided to leave and go to the Big Ten, that to me was a writing on the wall. Like the Pac-12 was absolutely dead. You're losing your biggest football school. You're losing your biggest basketball school in UCLA.
Been there for the entirety of the Pac-12.
Right, like these are the original members, they helped build this conference, and you're losing that LA market. Like the writing's on the wall. This conference is absolutely going to be dead. So absolutely, Pac-12 walk the damn plank into the abyss to never come back ever again. It was nice knowing you.
Me.
But that's all I had. Chance, if you didn't have anything else to add, man. Pirate Nation, we love you. As always, wash your hands, wash your butts. And we out.
Peace.
I like the Jared impression.
Yeah. I was having to. I figured Jared would like that one.